Have you ever wondered why one Pinterest pin gets 100 clicks while another gets 100,000 clicks, even though both target exactly the same keyword? Most people immediately blame Pinterest SEO, guys. They think maybe I did not use enough keywords, maybe I picked the wrong board, maybe Pinterest hates my account. But here's something most Pinterest creators don't realize. The majority of impressions on Pinterest don't actually come from search anymore. They come from Pinterest home feed. And if you don't understand how the home feed works, you are leaving thousands of clicks on the table. Today I'm going to explain exactly how Pinterest decides who sees your pin, why SEO alone isn't enough anymore, and most importantly, how you can dramatically increase your chances of showing up in people's home feed. So let's dive right in. The first thing you need to understand is that Pinterest has two completely different discovery systems, search and recommendations. Search is easy. Someone types DIY Halloween wreath, Pinterest already knows what that person wants. So your job is simply to convince Pinterest. In other words, you need to convince Pinterest that your content is the best answer. That is where keywords, titles, descriptions, image recognition, and Pinterest SEO come into play. But the home feed, it works completely different. Nobody is searching there. Pinterest has to decide what should I show this person right now. Think about Netflix. You don't always search for a movie. Netflix recommends one. Spotify recommends song. YouTube recommends video. Pinterest recommends pins. The home feed is basically Pinterest saying, I think you like this. That's a completely different game, guys. And to be brutally honest, Pinterest isn't guessing. A lot of creators think Pinterest randomly recommends content. It doesn't, guys. Pinterest knows an unbelievable amount about every user. It knows what they searched yesterday, what they clicked last week, what they saved, how long they looked at certain pins, what categories they interact with, even what kind of images make them stop scrolling. Let's say yesterday someone searched air dry clay animals, today they may never search again. Instead, Pinterest starts showing clay fox, clay owl, clay dinosaur, clay turtle, clay classroom crafts, kids art activities, and so on. So Pinterest is building an interest profile, guys. Every interaction teaches Pinterest something. The more someone interacts, the smarter Pinterest becomes. Guys, every user has a different interest on Pinterest. This is something many creators never think about. There isn't one Pinterest home feed, there are millions. Every person opens a completely different Pinterest. Someone planning a wedding will see wedding dresses. Someone decorating a nursery will see nursery ideas. Someone obsessed with crochet will never see woodworking projects. Someone researching recipes will probably never see finance content. Pinterest personalizes every single feed. That's why asking how do I force Pinterest to show my pins to moms is actually the wrong question. You don't choose your audience, Pinterest chooses it. So your job is helping Pinterest understand your content, then creating something people actually want to click. Guys, the thing with Pinterest is that it tests every new pin that you create. People think I published my pin, Pinterest looked at it, it failed. That's not what happens. Pinterest usually starts by testing a pin with a very small audience. Think of it like a movie trailer, guys. Before spending millions advertising a movie, studios first test reactions. Pinterest does exactly the same. It may show your pin to a few hundred highly relevant users. Then it watches, do people stop scrolling? Do they click? Do they save? Do they ignore it? Do they bounce immediately? Those signals determine whether Pinterest expands distribution. So if the first audience reacts positively, Pinterest becomes much more confident. More confidence means more impressions means more clicks, and more clicks can lead to even wider distribution. That's how Pinterest suddenly explodes months after publishing. Most creators spend hours researching keywords, guys. That's good, but then they design a pin nobody notices. Remember, the home feed moves incredibly fast. People don't carefully study every pin. They are scrolling very quickly. Your pin gets maybe half a second. That's it. Half a second to interrupt someone's scrolling habit. If you lose that moment, Pinterest loses confidence because nobody engaged. So the question isn't, did Pinterest show my pin? The better question is, what happened after Pinterest showed my pin? That single question changes everything. And guys, once your pin lands in someone's home feed, your SEO work is basically over. Now your design takes over. Think about it this way. Pinterest algorithm gets your pin in front of the right person. Your pin has to convince that person to stop scrolling. Those are two completely different jobs, guys. And a lot of creators focus 90% of the time on the first job while almost ignoring the second. I have seen beautifully optimized pins with perfect keywords get almost no traction simply because the design did not stand out. On the other hand, I have seen very simple pins with bold text and a clear image pull in thousands of clicks because people instantly understood what they were looking at. That's why I always say Pinterest is both a search engine and a visual discovery platform. The search engine gets you noticed, the visual gets you clicked. Guys, one of the most important things that I would like to say is that whenever you design your pins, keep one thing in mind. You need to design pins for the thumb and not for the desktop. Here's the mistake I see all the time. People design their pins on a large computer. Everything looks good and beautiful. Tiny decorative fonts, lots of text, small icons, fancy backgrounds. Then they publish it. But here's the problem. Over 80% of Pinterest usage happens on mobile devices, guys. Your beautiful pin suddenly becomes tiny. The headline is unreadable. The image looks cluttered. Nothing stands out. When I create a pin, I always zoom out or shrink it to mobile size before I publish it. If I can't understand the pin in less than a second, I redesign it. Ask yourself these questions. Can someone read my headline instantly? Is there one obvious focal point? Does my image stand out from the pins around it? Is there too much happening on the screen? If the answer isn't an immediate yes, keep simplifying it. Remember, clarity beats creativity on Pinterest. So the bottom line is the first 3 seconds decides everything, guys. Pinterest watches what happens immediately after your pin is shown. Did someone stop? Did they tap it? Did they scroll straight past it? These tiny interactions send powerful signals, guys. Now, here's something many people misunderstand. A save is great. A click is even better. But Pinterest is looking at the overall experience. If someone clicks your pin, lands on your website, finds exactly what they expected, stays there, and gets the value, Pinterest learns that your content fulfilled the promise. If people click and instantly leave because the page does not match the pin, that's a poor experience, guys. So if your pin is making a promise, make sure that your content keeps it. That's why I always tell people don't create clickbait pins. Create curiosity, but always deliver on it. One more thing that almost always works for me is creating fresh pins. Fresh pins give Pinterest more chances, guys. I rarely rely on just one pin for an article. Instead, I create multiple fresh designs, not duplicates, but fresh creative angles. Imagine if I have an article called 25 Easy Air Dry Clay Animals. One might focus on easy clay animals for beginners. Another might say 10 cute clay animal kids can make. Another could highlight classroom clay projects and so on. So bottom line is same article, different visual hook, different headline, different audience angle. Pinterest treats each fresh pin as another opportunity to test your content, guys. The more quality opportunities you create, the more data Pinterest has to work with. So don't just publish the exact same design over and over again. Give Pinterest something genuinely fresh to evaluate. One more important thing that I would like to say is that always build topical authority, guys, not random content. This is the mistake that most creators keep making. One day it's recipes for them, the next day it's travel, then finance, then gardening, then pets. From Pinterest perspective, that's confusing. Instead, build clusters. If you're in crafts, publish more craft content. If you're in home decor, expand into related home topics. If you're in parenting, cover different parenting challenges. The more consistent your content is, the easier it becomes for Pinterest to understand what your website is about. That confidence helps every future pin, guys. You are not just ranking individual pins, you're building authority around an entire topic. So, guys, don't chase for viral success. Everyone wants a viral pin. But relying on one viral hit is like buying a lottery ticket. A much better strategy is to create a system. One fresh article, several fresh pins, publish it consistently, week after week, month after month. Pinterest rewards creators who keep feeding the platform with useful, high quality content. Some pins flop, some will perform okay. And every once in a while, one will take off in a big way. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is giving Pinterest enough quality content to discover your winners. Guys, you cannot force Pinterest to show your pin to millions of people. That's up to Pinterest algorithm, guys. But you can absolutely increase the odds that it wants to. Create content people genuinely want. Package it with a clear, eye-catching pin. Match the promise of your pin with an excellent page. Published consistently, that's how trust is built. And once Pinterest starts trusting your content, the home feed becomes one of your biggest traffic sources. So guys, here's your action plan. Open your Pinterest home feed, scroll for 1 minute. Pay attention to the pins that instantly grab your attention. Ask yourself why they stood out. Now compare them with your pins. Could someone understand your message in less than a second? Could they read your headline without zooming in? Would your Pinterest pin stand out beside the best creators in your niche? If not, don't just tweak the keywords. Redesign the pin. Sometimes a better design can completely change the performance of the exact same content. Guys, if you found this video helpful, hit the like button and subscribe because I share practical Pinterest strategies based on what's actually working, not outdated advice or guesswork. And if you've noticed one design change that dramatically improved your Pinterest clicks, let me know in the comments section below. I would love to hear what's working for you. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.